What's up, Jets fans? Welcome to the latest edition of Jets Latest, where you get the latest on the Jets, Jets. I'm your host, the spitting statistician, Dane Martinez. I hope everybody enjoyed their holiday weekend, and it's kind of the unofficial start of summer, right? So now, as we're starting to get into summer, we're going to get into training camp, and I can't believe it, but really, we got the summer, but football is on the horizon. I want to talk a little bit today about, like it says on the bottom, working with and preparing for Justin Fields. But before we do that, I want to update you guys on what I think is going to be one of the biggest topics in the next couple of weeks, maybe before training camp. We talked about it here on Jets Latest, and it's what I believe will be contract extensions for Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner. And Sauce Gardner was on the Pat McAfee show late last week talking about it himself. And if you look at these comments, I actually think we are on a good road and something will get figured out. Listen to what he said on the McAfee show. He goes, "It's been pretty productive. We have our goals in terms of numbers and stuff, and the Jets are aware of that. And I'm aware of the rest of my peers like J.C. Horn, Derek Stingley, Pat Surtain. That's all guys that are deserving of the money they're getting. It's definitely something my team and the Jets are talking about." It's interesting that, to me, he references these other guys, right? Because Stingley and Horn specifically, they have sort of reset the cornerback market. Stingley, a 3-year, $90 million extension. J.C. Horn, a 4-year, $100 million extension. But remember, it was Sauce Gardner, not Patrick Surtain, not Derek Stingley Jr., not J.C. Horn. That was rated, at least by PFF, as the number one cornerback in the NFL, right? And his stats would, in fact, back that up. Look at his coverage grade since 2022. League high incompletions have been forced. A league low, kind of average yards per cover. So, I've been saying it before here, pay the man, but I was excited to hear that he was talking kind of amicably about those negotiations that are going on. And remember, he showed up for minicamp and all that, has had nothing but positive things to say about the culture that is building, the coaching staff, and what it will be like to be part of the green and white long term as a cornerstone. So you got to feel good about that. I still think it's going to get done, certainly before week 1 when they face Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Another person that I heard from over this holiday weekend that was interesting is running back Breece Hall. And running back Breece Hall was talking about kind of what this run game could look like and how it's been like working with Justin Fields. Remember, I've been talking about how now that we have this dual threat element with Justin Fields in the run game, what that could mean for Breece Hall as a back out of the backfield in RPOs and even getting vultured by guys like Braylon Allen and Justin Fields at the goal line. Listen to what Breece Hall had to say specifically about working with Fields and the new elements of the run game. He goes, "It's going to be fun. We're doing a lot of read options, RPOs, which sometimes sucks, but sometimes works really well. It's been good to get to know him and hang out with him. We have a really great relationship outside of football, so we're going to keep getting closer and keep challenging each other to get better." And let me tell you something. That is now not the first time a member of the Jets, in talking about Justin Fields and his leadership, has also mentioned his youth, right? How he's younger, how maybe he's a little bit more relatable than Aaron Rodgers was in the previous regime, right? So I think that's interesting. And remember, I think the RPOs, much like we see with a Lamar Jackson and a Derrick Henry, much like we see with a Jalen Hurts and a Saquon Barkley, much like we see on critical downs with a Josh Allen and a James Cook, right? That ability to kind of keep the defense guessing, not knowing if it's going to be Hall, not knowing if it's going to be Fields with the ball, I think is really, really important. And remember, we're going to have also what I believe is an improved offensive line. And if you remember, Breece Hall finished 22nd in the league last year. His 1.3 yards before contact was the lowest in that group, but his 2.9 yards after contact was tied for the 5th best among that group, right? So I really believe that all these things are really going to give Breece Hall maybe some bigger lanes and ability to get going and be more explosive in the run game to maybe surpass his total last year. But let's talk more about working with and preparing for Justin Fields. I think it's really interesting when we hear from defensive guys about Justin Fields. We heard earlier on Jets Latest the idea from Quinnen Williams, like, yo, that dude is fast. We know that Aaron Glenn targeted Justin Fields. I've talked about what Justin Fields did against Detroit in the run game when Aaron Glenn was the defensive coordinator. And now, going back to Sauce Gardner, when he was on McAfee last week, he talked about Justin Fields, not only his leadership, his preparation, but what it's like as a defense to have to prepare for Justin Fields. He goes, we got a new dog in town. We got Justin Fields. It's been great. Him being younger as well. So me being able to say certain things. Him being able to say certain things. Again, look, that idea of him being younger, a consistent theme. He goes, he's a dog. I can just tell that he's locked in terms of tape, the playbook, everything. He gets to the facility early. He's one of the last ones to leave. He's been really dialed in. He's made a few throws in OTAs where I was like, yo, I did not throw. No, he was capable of making that throw. There's only a certain amount of QBs that can make that. I'm talking Aaron Rodgers type of level. He's always been talented and athletic. I remember going against him with the Steelers, and we had to change the whole game plan for him, and he didn't even play in that game. And this goes under kind of respected in my opinion. The amount of preparation it takes when you know you're going to have to face a guy like Justin Fields, whether it's in the run game, the RPO game, or whatever, and all that does is take away time to prepare for everything else. It really does, in fact, matter. I think it's important that Sauce was talking about some of the actual throws he was able to make. We've been talking about his development fields as a passer. And then again, another person talking about the youth of Justin Fields as a leader, that relatability, as Aaron Glenn has said, ingratiate yourself to your teammates. And Fields as a leader, as our QB1 franchise quarterback, has certainly done just that. So I thought all of that was very interesting. I think Sauce is on the horizon of getting a new contract, and everybody seems to be working with Fields and what it can do to add complexity to this offense and add some more preparation time to all the defenses that the Jets are going to have to see this year. New for Jets Latest, one thing I'm starting to do and trying to keep doing this week is get some of your comments on the show. I really appreciate everybody that's subscribed, everybody that watches, some of the positive comments you have said. Please tell a friend to tell a friend. Follow me on social media as well. But we got Shane Johnson in the comments who said about this run game also, and consider when Braylon Allen is the running back, and they put just Breece Hall as a receiver or in the slot. Again, so many different things this Jets offense can do that other defenses are going to have to prepare for. I agree with Shane Johnson. It's going to be a lot harder to prepare for. And then even, let's say you got Braylon Allen in the backfield, you still have the rushing element of Justin Fields, right, in a short yardage situation. So that is very interesting. Also, Sharon McLean in the comments, she says, Sauce is the best cover corner, even with his quote-unquote off year last year. Our defense will be elite this season. We really could be better than people think. I think this defense is going to be good. I think this defense has an identity. They're going to cover man. We've got guys that can fit that. We're going to blitz a little bit more. We've talked about that on Jets Latest. If we have Jermaine Johnson and Will McDonald healthy, those are good edge rushers. And really, Aaron Glenn bringing in guys that fit this scheme, even by drafting guys like A.Z. Thomas, even drafting guys like Malachi Moore, bringing in a guy like Cisco as a ball-hawking safety. So I agree with the comment from Sharon that this could be a better Jets defense. We really could be better than people think. One thing I know for sure, keep it locked on Jets Latest, because as we get better, you can say you were in on the ground floor. Remember, like these videos, watch these videos, tell a Jets fan friend, and hit me up in the comments. I will be reading some of the comments here on the show so you can be part of Jets Latest. And again, if you want to hear more from me, spitting statistician Dane Martinez, you got to go over to the FTN Fantasy Show on SiriusXM channel 87. We're getting you ready for fantasy football season as well. And if you're into betting, live betting, I'm the host of In Game Live over on Sports Grid TV, so you can kind of find out as you're watching the action where the opportunities are to bet. But we will definitely be here all week, all the time this month when training camp gets going, and appreciate really all the comments, all the views, all the subscribers, so we can be on the ground floor of what should be a pretty interesting 2025 season for the Jets. We'll see you tomorrow, but for now, we out of here. Peace.